One of the lessons I learned back then that's just been reinforced with the passage of time is that it's very easy to get into wars, but extremely difficult to get out of wars. And that's especially true if you're a great power like the United States that's always worried about your reputation. So the United States gets into a place like Afghanistan, and even though it's clear for at least a decade that the United States should exit Afghanistan, it finds it extremely hard to get out of Afghanistan. It takes us 20 years to get out, even though it's clear for many years that we're going to lose the war. Uh, this is the same basic situation that we faced in Vietnam, right? It was very hard to get out of that war. And the same thing is true with Ukraine. It was easy to get into it. And the Biden administration, I think, was remarkably cavalier in thinking about how easy it would be to win that war and live happily ever after. Anyway, we got into the war and we have had a devil of a time getting out of the war. And as I said a few minutes ago, this is not rational fighting this war from an American strategic point of view. This war does not make any sense. But again, it's just so difficult to get out of it. So here we are stuck in this war. And from a Chinese point of view, to go back to China, this is manna from heaven. The Chinese, in my opinion, should hope that the war in Ukraine goes on forever. In fact, the Chinese should hope that our conflicts, America's conflicts in the Middle East, go on forever. Because as a result of our close alliance with Israel, we have to deploy large numbers of naval and air assets in the Middle East that otherwise would be deployed in East Asia. The Chinese don't want those assets in East Asia. They'd much prefer to see those naval and air assets in the Middle East. So you have this very interesting situation where the United States, which considers China to be its principal adversary and a country that it has to contain, cannot fully pivot to East Asia to contain China, not only because of Ukraine, which is what we've been talking about mainly, but also because of the Middle East and the fact that, we were in a big fight with the Houthis. We have to protect Israel if it gets into a war with Iran, and so forth and so on. So all of this works to China's advantage. So the Chinese are actually in very good shape in East Asia.